Okay, it is Monday, January the 1st of 2024, first day of the new year. Hopefully everybody had an enjoyable and relaxing time with friends and family over the past couple weeks during the holiday. I know I did. I did try to trade as little as possible, but I won't lie to you guys, I did sneak in a few trades here and there. So yeah, hopefully everybody's feeling relaxed and rested up, and yeah, good luck out there this year. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the market outlook and plans for the week ahead. So let's go ahead and start off with our news events. We actually have a very major event upon us. So today is the 1st, and I think the 8th, so the beginning of next week, is going to be the official decision point for the Bitcoin ETFs. So we have, I think, like 5 or 6 Bitcoin ETFs that are going to likely be decided upon. They've been delaying, so this is probably the point where we either actually get the definitive approval or denial, which the market is definitely pricing in approval. I'll talk about my ETF plans when we get into the Bitcoin section a little bit more, but this is the main thing over the next week. These kind of decisions can always come early, so definitely want to be light on your feet this week into next week, because there's almost certainly going to be some degree of whipsaw and fuck you kind of price action. So let's go ahead and dive into Bitcoin. So let's start off with the higher time frame. So be mindful that, it's the very beginning of the year. So some of the VWAP conversations, won't really hold as much weight. I would mainly be considering the yearly and quarterly moving forward. I wouldn't be caring too much about, monthly and stuff. But yeah, so essentially where we're at is we had a incredibly strong spot led uptrend all year long. We have now just transitioned into the new year, so we want to be very open-minded and fluid with our bias, because it's very common for new flows, fresh flows, to hit the market at the start of a yearly or quarterly change. So essentially where we're at is we are currently pegged between prices, ranging between two kind of key regions. So we'll go ahead and depict that on high time frame and the medium time frame after that. So high time frame, we're working with the 2021 yearly VWAP. It's currently acting as major resistance, which is forming our current range, and 38K, which is the composite low from 2022 over here, is the support. The way it's really working out is we actually have less relevant supports below that are actually currently holding up price and forming the immediate range, which we'll go over here in detail in a moment. So essentially, the core plan is we should oscillate between the 2021 VWAP and then the 2022 macro value area low. And if we get above or below those, we have pretty obvious targets. So if we get above 45K, that should take us towards 54K, which is the value area high for 2021. If we get below 38K, then we should be able to trade down towards 32K, which is the macro support territory. So eventually, I do think that eventually we will drift down to this region. Whether we continue to build out this range further, potentially even trading up first, which I do think is a reasonable probability, which I'll depict later on in this video. But I do think in the long run, we're going to trade back towards this 32K region. And if we are fortunate enough to do so, you're going to want to aggressively buy this up. That is my plan. Basically from 32K down to 29K is macro dip buying territory. If we come into this zone, especially off of an aggressive sell-off, something like we got in Q3 would be a really ideal situation I would be looking for. For more information, check out the Paragon group with the link below, where I cover everything from how I trade to how you can develop your own style. So yeah, I mean, that's basically the plan for Bitcoin right now on macro. Nothing's changed from the more recent outlooks that you guys have seen. I'm going to change this color really quickly because it's bothering me. Essentially, we expect to range between these two key zones. If we get above or below, we have obvious upside targets. I think that it really is kind of just a matter of when do we trade back into this region, but the market can stay, retarded longer than you can stay solvent. So I definitely wouldn't be putting any specific time horizon on this. The longer it takes for us to get back to 32K, the more likely people are to not really, buy it, time capitulation, etc. Last thing to talk about on the higher time frame, Well, my last major topic on higher time frame is going to be the kind of deviation of my plan. There is a very reasonable scenario where we don't actually trade back to 32K, and the most shallow dip we get is into this kind of 38K. Maybe we can basically call it 39 down to like 36. So call it like a 3,000 point range for dip buying. When we look at the lower time frame stuff, the number of overlaps that we're going to see here, just off of the higher time frame chart alone, right? We're going to have the quarterly, previous quarterly VWAP. Lining up with that macro 2022 value area low, there's going to be a plethora, absolute abundance of levels down in this region. So there is a scenario where we kind of build out this range further, trade down in this region, and then, trade up from there. The other kind of scenario is that we don't really even trade down at all, which we're going to talk about this in a moment, but we are definitely in triangle mode right now. So if we continue to build out this triangle, the tighter price gets in this area, the more likely we are to break up, because you want to bet with the trend. So yeah, that's pretty much it for macro, guys. TLDR is we're currently wedged between two kind of key areas. Call it 40K and 38K, or excuse me, 40K and 44K. And essentially the market is just patiently waiting for these decisions around the ETFs to come through and make its decision. So one potential scenario, which I'm going out of order, but one potential scenario is that the ETFs get approved and markets trade up off the back of that, and then form kind of another range, and then that ultimately, ends up leading to the kind of sell event. Because if we were to trade up, that would really put pressure on sellers. A lot of people are probably hedging and selling up here, I would imagine, because I do think it's a smart thing to do in the immediate picture. So putting pressure on the hedgers and sellers, which would be myself, would really be a fuck you kind of event. So if we got approved off the ETFs, traded up, and then traded back down, and then probably what would happen is we would either bottom out here or bottom out here, which would likely lead to much, much higher highs at that point. But this would be a really good kind of FU event in the market if that was to take place. Let's go ahead and move on to altcoins. I'm going to try to not talk about altcoins for too long because there is quite a lot of altcoins I'm watching. So I'm going to try to blast through this pretty quickly. So first things first, OP. OP has been one that I've been trading a little bit recently. I haven't had any wildly successful trades on it, I'm not going to lie. But, keep it really simple. Whenever price, let's do a ray instead. Whenever you have this kind of boomer scenario, the breakout all-time high retest, it's a really, it's just as dumb as the triangle trades, but it works really well in risk-on environments, right? So OP is probably going to INJ it and be trading up, and going up 100, 200% from here, I would imagine. So I'm probably going to be trying to participate in momentum on OP. Ordinals has been, just triangle memeing its way up. So I wouldn't want to be positioned on ordinals currently, but I would be waiting for the next kind of, triangle meme to form on it and then send it again. FET, another one, very, very similar to EDU, very similar trend structuring and similar kind of resistance standpoint. 75 cents is major resistance for FET. If FET gets above 75 cents, there's literally just air. There's a tiny bit of supply up in like above $1, I think, but this thing would probably just smash right through that and just keep going. So definitely keep an eye on FET. INJ is another one, and just everyone knows. INJ's had, I think, the best performance out of any altcoin last year, period. This thing did numbers. And, yeah, I mean, as crazy as it is to say, it wouldn't surprise me to see INJ just be a ripper in Q1 this year as well. The SEI coin. So SEI, I've definitely fucked up on SEI by not participating on this one enough. I've taken a couple trades on it, but I should have been really focused on this one probably, but it is what it is. I would, essentially, it's starting to get parabolic. So how the triangle meme kind of plays out, guys, is that your first triangles take the longest, and as your trend progresses, your triangles tend to get shorter and shorter until you're at the kind of parabolic stage where your coin is just up only. So when you're trading these things, that's important to be mindful of, right? If you really look at this on a little bit lower time frame, you could still see, right, triangle, shorter triangle, probably an even shorter triangle if I was to go to like a 30-minute or something. So that's how these things trade. So anyways, this thing's probably going to keep trading up, so you want to hunt dips on this one. Similar story with TIA. TIA looks ready to go. Triangle. Unironically, I'm counter-arguing myself. Not every time is the triangle going to be shorter, but when they're, kind of accelerating in upwards price action, the ranges are shorter lived, right? So, It's not 100% because nothing is absolute. But as far as TIA goes, I mean, this looks fucking ready to go right now. So I'm paying very, very close attention to TIA. OP, TIA, World Coin. Those are the things I'm really liking the most right now. But I would want to wait for that one. Avalanche, very thankful for Avalanche from a derivative standpoint. This thing printed for me in late Q4, so I really like this thing. It has actually outperformed my Solana bag, which has been pretty crazy. So yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned on Avalanche, I would just effectively be waiting to see a little bit more of a development into the early before I wanted to make any calls on this one. Let's go ahead and look at the... Yeah, I mean, so as far as like the monthly quarterly chart looks, I mean, this thing looks like a fucking monster still. So I did have dip buying alerts a little bit lower, which it looks like it's trying to front run. If this trades a little bit lower, then it's a very clear dip buyer for me. Same exact thing with Solana, basically, guys. So I keep saying I want to sell my soul. I keep looking for I keep looking for a reason to want to sell my Solana and just take profit on it because I'm up like, fucking 8x on it, or almost 9 now. But as long as this thing keeps being a monster, I need to hold on to it. I don't want to sell it too early. So, yeah, I mean, big fan of Solana. I've been, shilling Solana in the group for a while now. And one of the things I always one of the main reasons why I always promoted Sol from a long-term hold is because of all the development from I have so many peers that are building on Solana, and that makes me super bullish on it. So it's a good lesson, guys, to bet on the homies. It's a lesson I've learned many times over in the crypto space. You want to bet on your friends. Arbitrum monster. So ETH beta is still definitely a thing right now. Arbitrum looks like an absolute turbo Chad. OP falls into the same category. I just have it up at the top because I really like that coin right now. But Arbitrum looks really good. Has basically no resistance left on it. Even Pepe looks decent. So there's a lot of coins. Even this Ant coin I used to talk about all the time. I'm not long on this one anymore, but look at this fucking thing. You basically could just buy dips on Ant and just do nothing. You can't be super active in your Ant trading because it's illiquid, but I mean, look at this, the trend on this thing for, over a year and a half. Slightly over a year and a half of just a perfect controlled trend. So anyways, we'll go ahead and digress from there. Main coins I'm super interested in are OP, World Coin, and like the Dalai Lama ready coins. That's pretty much going to be my core focus. OP, World Coin, Sei, TIA, Avalanche, Solana. Always subject to change and add in extras where needed. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the shitcoin rundown today, guys. That's going to do it for me. This is the first outlook of the year. And yeah, good luck out there. Personally, I'm really excited to get back into things. Q1 of the year always seems to be good fun for me personally. So yeah, I'm going to be out there and be really active, and I'll see you in the books. Best of luck.